the Waterville City Council. There are agendas available online on the city's website. All items appearing on the consent agenda are voted on in one motion and vote. Generally, these items do not require any discussion. All items listed under unfinished business or new business are voted on separately. First, councilors will be given an opportunity for questions or comments. Once all councilors have had an opportunity to speak, citizens will be given an opportunity for comments or questions. Citizens must speak and identify themselves. Each citizen will be allowed one opportunity to speak and will be limited to 3 minutes. Finally, councilors will be given another opportunity to speak. Citizens who would like to speak on a topic that does not appear on tonight's agenda will have an opportunity to do so at the end of the meeting under the public comments section of the agenda. Can we all look at Rick and do the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just screwed that up.
Thank you, Rick, for leading us. All right. Pledge allegiance. I have a proclamation today. Let me go to that. Patty, are we ready for this one? Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Mayor proclamation in recognition of the Week of the Young Child. Whereas children's cognitive, physical, social, and emotional, and language and literacy development are built on the foundation of children's positive interactions with adults, peers, and their environment. And whereas participation in high quality early education saves taxpayers dollars, makes working families more economically secure, and prepares children to succeed in school, earn higher wages, and live healthier lives. And whereas high quality early education depends on high quality early childhood educators who ensure that children supported by families have early experiences they need for a strong foundation. And whereas essential yet chronically undervalued child care sector has sacrificed and struggled to serve children and families since the start of the COVID pandemic. And whereas young children need developmentally appropriate, accessible, and available early care and education settings. And whereas working families need robust subsidies, scholarships, and tax credits for families at all income levels that support the true cost of quality early childhood education. And whereas early educators need ability to earn a family-sustaining wage that is commensurate with the required education and skills they bring to the complex and valuable work they do. And whereas we celebrate the 50th anniversary of Week of the Young Child so that we can continue to recognize and advance early childhood education profession. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Jay Coelho, Mayor of Waterville, on behalf of the City Council, do hereby proclaim April 10th through 16th as the Week of the Young Child, and urge all members of our community to support efforts that increase children and families' access to high-quality early childhood education. And that was it. All right. Patty, we're going to move on to unfinished business. Approval of consent agenda.
Disclosure of conflict of interest first, Jay.
Oh, you have one?
And actually, I think we were going to do the manager's report first. But
I don't see it on the agenda that way, so that's why I was questioning.
Actually, yes, we're on to the manager's report. Mr. Daly, can you unmute?
Muted. We spent a lot of time this week dealing with the sidewalk and street outdoor dining in preparation for this meeting tonight. That did eat up a lot of our time. outside of that, we have 2 cases of COVID contacts. Both parties are still at home, working from home, and we expect that they'll be back to work on Monday. The Winslow Town Hall shut down this week as a result of a COVID contact, which actually a COVID positive in their staff, which bled over to Waterville. That's why one of our people is out. And as a courtesy and a favor to Winslow, we took on their motor vehicle registration for this week. I expect that we will not be doing that next week. Public Works is out working, sweeping the streets. I'm sure some of you have seen that. And they're doing drainage work up on Marston Road in preparation for the summer, and the reclamation of Marston Road is scheduled for later in this meeting. I think that's it for right now.
All right. Thank you, Steve. Disclosure of conflict of interest.
I have a conflict with resolution 68-2021, which is mainly Bruce, since I booked most of the special amusement up there.
All right. Anybody else? All right. So we move on to approval of consent agenda.
So moved.
Second,
Patty, can I go roll call on that?
Yes. Council Morris,
Yes.
Council Olivera,
Yes.
Council Klepak,
Yep.
Council Green. You're muted, Councilor Green.
Yes. Yes.
Councilor Foss,
Yes.
Councilor Frankie,
Yes.
Councilor Thomas.
yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed.
All right. Moving on to unfinished business, Order 60, 2021.
Can I make a motion to take the entire agenda by title only?
I'll second that.
Shall I do a roll call, Mayor?
Please.
Council Morris,
Yes.
Council Olivera,
Yes.
Councilor Klepak,
Yes.
Councilor Green,
Yes.
Councilor Foss,
Yes.
Councilor Frankie,
Yes.
Councilor Thomas.
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed. Order 60-2021, an order providing for approval of easement agreement.
Move to adopt.
Second,
Any discussion? I don't see any. Patty, can I get a roll call?
Mayor,
Councilor
Council
Frankie,
Frankie.
Hold on. Let me see. Sorry, Claude.
This is
There you
the sewer easement that we voted on at the last meeting. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Anyone else? All right. Now I'll go for a roll call, Patty.
yes. Council Morris,
Yes.
Council Olivera,
Yes.
Councilor Klepak.
Yep.
Councilor Green,
Yes.
Councilor Foss,
Yes.
Councilor Frankie,
Yes.
Councilor Thomas.
yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed.
I'm moving on to unfinished business, Order 64, 2021.
An order providing for authorization to accept and spend grant funds.
Move to adopt.
Second,
Any discussion? Seeing none, Patty, can I get a roll call?
Council Morris,
Yes.
Councilor Olivera,
Yes.
Councilor Klepak.
Yep.
Councilor Green,
Yes.
Councilor Foss.
Yes.
Councilor Frankie,
Yes.
Councilor Thomas.
yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed.
All right. Moving on to new business, Resolution 67, 2021.
A resolution providing for renewal of a special amusement license to Jody Langlois, doing business as Chez Paris.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Any questions? Seeing none, Patty, can I get a roll call?
Council Morris,
Yes.
Council Olivera,
Yes.
Council Klepak,
Yes.
Council Green,
Yes.
Council Foss,
Yes.
Council Frankie,
Yes.
Council Thomas.
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed.
All right, moving on to Resolution 68, 2021.
A resolution providing for renewal of a special amusement license to S&L Productions Incorporated, doing business as Mainly Brews.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Any discussion? Claude, or Councilor Frank?
Just a quick point of order, Eric. Do you think that your conflict of interest would unfairly influence your vote on this question?
Well, I mean, I'm the one who books all the music. So, you know,
This
and
is
I get
just for the
paid to
liquor
do that.
license.
So I would say yes.
Right, this is just.
Not that I would
this is
change
just
my
for
vote
the
either
liquor.
way, but
Yeah, all right.
And yeah, and this is for amusement stuff. All right. Anybody else have questions? Patty, can I move to a roll call?
Council Morris,
Yes.
Council Olivera,
Yes.
Council Klepak,
Yes.
Council Green,
Yes.
Council Foss.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, Council Frankie.
Yes.
The vote is 6 in favor and 0 opposed.
Moving on to Resolution 69, 2021.
A resolution providing for issuance of a victualer's license to Teresa Dunn, doing business as Jorgensen's Cafe and Deli.
Move to adopt.
second.
Is Teresa here, Patty?
Don't believe so. Do you see her, Sarah?
I don't know.
She wasn't sure she was coming anyway. They're moving Jorgensen's out to where Me Long To Go used to be.
Also formerly Rita's for anyone who doesn't know the business before that.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Patty, can I get a roll call?
Council Morris,
Yes.
Council Olivera,
Yes.
Council Klepak,
Yes.
Council Green,
Yes.
Council Foss,
Yes.
Council Frankie,
Yes.
Council Thomas.
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed.
All right, moving on to Resolution 70, 2021.
A resolution providing for issuance of a victualer's license to Starbucks Corporation, doing business as Starbucks Coffee, number 9832.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Patty, can I get a roll call?
Council Morris,
Yes.
Council Olivera,
Yes.
Council Klepak,
Yes.
Council Green,
Yes.
Council Foss,
Yes.
Council Frankie,
Yes.
Councilor Thomas.
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed.
Moving on to Resolution 71, 2021.
A resolution providing for lease of airport facility, Maine Eye Doctors.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Any discussion? Rick?
Steve, is there any implications with the Fed as far as funding and all that on this one?
Any implications what?
Is there any negative side effects of this where this is
No.
going to be at the airport?
No.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none, Patty, can I get a roll call?
Council Morris,
Yes.
Council Olivera,
Yes.
Council Klepak,
Yes.
Council Green,
Yes.
Council Foss,
Yes.
Council Frankie,
Yes.
Council Thomas.
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed.
All right, moving on to Ordinance 72, 2021.
An ordinance providing for amendment to the building and electrical permit ordinance.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Any discussion?
Can we just have Steve explain what this is?
Yes, I'll be happy to. It came to my attention in working with the code enforcement officer during our budget discussions that the current fine of $100 for a violation of any of the codes has not been pursued. And as a result, a lot of the violations have been overlooked simply because it costs us roughly $1,000 to pursue a violation and to collect a fine. So up in the past, it's been not worth it. It costs us 10 times as much to collect a $100 fine as the money that we collect. So we put our heads together and came up with $1,000 bottom line for a fine. But after further discussion, decided to make it an incremental amount so that it would be $500, and if it goes unpaid after 30 days, it becomes $1,000. The $1,000, excuse me, the $1,000 is relevant because we would have to go to court to pursue that fine.
Where they can pay the 500 and move on.
Right.
But we had an opportunity. We thought about it like the parking tickets, where after 14 days it just doubles. We figured that at $500, it'll perk them up. If they want to pay it, they're good, and if not, then it'll cover our expenses for going to court.
Yeah, in effect, they get a $500 discount if they pay early.
Yep. And we'll collect more than we ever have. Councilor Frankie.
Just quickly, about how many violations does the city experience in the course of a year?
Well, since they haven't been enforced, I have no idea.
Thank you.
Is the code enforcement officer here?
I don't see him. No, I don't see Dan.
No.
Any other questions?
I can get a number for you, though, and I'll share it with the whole council.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see. No further discussion. Patty, can I get a roll call?
Council Morris,
Yes.
Council Olivera,
Yes.
Council Klepak,
Yes.
Council Green,
Yes.
Council Foss,
Yes.
Council Frankie,
Yes.
Council Thomas.
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed.
All right. Moving on to Resolution 73, 2021.
A resolution providing for approval of contracts for IT services.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Steve, go ahead.
A little bit of background on this. The city provides IT services to Winslow, Oakland, in addition to Fairfield and Clinton. These two contracts are up for renewal. We're going to renew them for a shorter period of time than the usual 3 years so that we can bring all 4 contracts coterminous, and then we'll work from there. These,
No, go ahead. Finish.
no, I'm done.
What are we getting for a rate?
We bill on a lump sum per year, and I don't have that right at my fingertips for the 2 different communities. I believe it's in the range of $5,000 though. And for any work outside of the normal routine services that we provide, we bill at $85 an hour.
Thank you. Councilor Frankie.
As I recall, last year they renegotiated some of these and got us a better rate. That's just if my memory is correct. Am I right, Patty?
Yes.
It was Winslow and Oakland that were renegotiated.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any other questions? Councilor Green.
So
Are the hours tracked by our staff? And then
Yes.
at the end of the year, we,
Oh, we don't true up at the end of the year. We track the hours to verify that our lump sum price is reasonably on track.
okay,
And we have a prescribed range of services that we perform within that lump sum.
mm-hmm.
We're asked to do special work outside of it. We bill separately for that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Any further questions? Seeing none, Patty, can I get a roll call?
Council Morris,
Yes.
Council Olivera,
Yes.
Council Klepak,
Yes.
Council Green,
Yes,
Council Foss,
Yes.
Council Frankie,
Yes.
Council Thomas. You're muted, Council Thomas.
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed.
Moving on to Resolution 74, 2021.
A resolution providing for establishing a Waterville Housing Committee.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Councilor Green, any discussion?
well, I don't have anything to say other than that I'm really excited to see this happen because I think there are a lot of things that we have to discuss about housing. I'd love to hear from anyone who does have questions.
I would just explain it a little bit for the public, Rebecca.
Okay, great. So, sorry. The idea of this committee would be to evaluate some of the data we have on our current state of housing, both in terms of our rental market, our housing stock. The idea is that this would be an evaluation across the city looking at the whole picture, not just one neighborhood or another, and really involve a lot of stakeholders on the committee, perhaps even I'm hoping we would have some public input as well, so that we can get ideas from the community about how we can improve the housing situation for everyone in Waterville and, in fact, create cohesive neighborhoods as well. So this was an idea that was sort of a bounce from a lot of work that stakeholders did earlier this year to apply for a grant from the Boston Fed that would have provided planning money to look at various elements in the Kennebec River corridor going from the south end to the north end. This, in fact, will be a citywide endeavor, but the idea is to follow up on some of those ideas that came out of that planning process, and then evaluate a lot of the data we already have from a 2002 housing study and other more recent data that's available to look at where we are and what we need to do.
Councilor Klepak.
I have a question about the original Boston Fed WCC grant. Was that a one-time grant, or is that something that is annually available? My question having the purpose of understanding whether this housing committee could be something that could lay the groundwork for a subsequent successful application to that grant if we, want to take another swing at it. Or is it actually, I don't know, is it actually something that is better is it something that's better if we wait and resubmit to the grant before establishing the committee? I want to know how this committee might play into that grant. Is that grant done? Was it a one-time deal?
I don't want to say it's never going to happen again, but it's unlikely. I mean, this was a special opportunity that was offered to Maine communities. So it's unlikely that it's going to be offered at least for a number of years. So it's not like we can reapply next year.
I see.
Yeah.
Counselor Frankie?
To your question, Tom, one of the impetuses of putting together a request to make this committee was the idea that about how the ideas about housing that came out of the work to prepare for the grant. There was a matter of not getting the grant shouldn't be a reason to not go forward with work on housing for the city. So it was a matter of it was just the next step that seemed logical to take was to having come up with the idea. Let's go ahead and do something about it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I was just trying to understand whether the grant was a fully done deal, or if not, like how this housing committee might play into whatever the future of that might be. But I understand now. Thank you.
There may be other grants. There may be other funding sources. So that's if we've got a committee looking at stuff, why we can explore all possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Counselor Green?
Yeah, I just want to add that there's actually a lot of funding coming to Maine from the most recent package passed in Washington, a lot of housing money. So that's something that we could take advantage of fairly quickly. I mean, actually, it might be even too quick, but I mean, there's going to be other funding that's coming up, and there are other projects that are happening as well. So, but this is partly just an effort to coordinate, as you know, different efforts too, and make some recommendations that are going to benefit everyone in the community. So. It's, you know, it's workforce housing, it's new family homes, looking at the whole range.
Counselor Green, can you tell us about the diversity of people you are looking to get on this committee? I know you're looking for real estate agents. I know you're looking for bankers, people that may live in low-income housing. Can you just put out a couple more of the types of people you're looking for your committee?
Sure.
I don't mean to put you on the spot.
Yeah, no, okay. Well, I figured I would, rather than go from memory, I'll pull up the proposal. But yeah, so the idea is to have quite a diverse membership, from up to 8 members, and we want to include a variety of stakeholders, including people who are, you know, perhaps in the banking industry, people who are working on low-income housing, people who are providing real estate professionals, someone from the planning board, someone representing residents, someone who is engaged in the residential home building industry. It's not necessary that and landlords too. So it's not necessary that we're going to have a representative from each of these groups, but we want to have at least 6 different groups represented in this range.
Thank you for that. Any other comments or questions?
Mayor, there's an attendee that would like to, has their hand raised and would like to ask a question. Paula,
Okay.
Raymond, shall we allow her to ask her question?
Please do.
Sarah, are you pulling her in?
Yes.
Okay. I believe she's there. Paula Raymond, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you as well. Thank you.
Okay. I'm not sure I have so much of a question as sort of an appreciation that you've allowed me to come in and speak on this particular issue. I don't know that any of you were around, short of Patty, who has been here for years and monitoring these meetings. But about 5 years ago, we did a presentation, something we had worked on for 2 summers, 800 hours, with Kobe students under the direction of Winifred Tate, who was on the city council at the time. And we pooled a host of data, information that had to do with vacant and abandoned homes, rental properties, and the percentages of that, and then single family homes. When it came to the vacant and abandoned homes and the rental properties, it was citywide, and we still have that data. And I'm keenly interested. We did bring the idea of a committee to the city council at the time. It was voted down 4-3. And so I'm really glad that it's being brought up again and hoping to be on that committee. So I'm sort of advocating for myself as a representative under the South End Neighborhood Association. Our subcommittee is the Quality of Life Committee. And it's one of the things we've been working on for a long time now. So with that information, like I said, we have it as a PowerPoint presentation. We also had an engineer come through specifically to the South End and take pictures of buildings that really needed serious work. And he actually presented that to City Council so that we would be aware of the continued, I don't know what the word is because I want to be polite about it, but just the continued mismanagement maybe, or just housing that was just getting worse and getting worse. And for whatever reasons, it's not that we were being critical or judgmental, because we know, people and money and owning property can be difficult for some. And there may be viable reasons why people don't take care of their properties at this point in time. But I just wanted to offer that to you, that we do have a lot of information that we believe is pertinent to what you're looking to do moving forward. And I would certainly love to be at that table. That's it. Thank you for listening to me.
Patty, I see another hand up. Kimberly Halley.
Yes. Sarah? Kimberly Halley, can you hear me? You're muted. Can you unmute?
How's that?
That's perfect. Thank you, Kimberly.
Thanks.
Go ahead and ask your question or comment.
Yes, Kim Halley, 12 Gray Street, Waterville, Maine. I'm actually the original facilitator and helped with originating the South End Neighborhood Association. I would very much support Paula being on this committee, if at all possible. And I would just like to say, I think it's a fabulous, fabulous idea. Decades ago, Waterville had a housing director, which enabled my husband and I to purchase our first home here in the neighborhood. We then moved to Averill Terrace for a period of time, sold that home to Colby professors and came back to the South End, and that's when we got Senna going. But I'm very pleased to see that this committee could come to fruition. Thank you.
Councillor Thomas.
So my question really is just procedural. So there's a couple of things left blank in this. And then, of course, there's no list of people who are going to be appointed to this committee yet. So I wonder, are these going to be run through the mayor like most of our other committees and then approved by the council? And then do we want to wait to fill in the blanks on when the report's going to be delivered and how long the committee is going to exist until after the committee has a chance to discuss that? Or what were your thoughts on that?
Well, I thought that we might discuss, how long this committee would need to, would need to be in existence, or what would make that, what would be a good length of time. and that could be changed, of course. I think Steve and I did discuss this, and we thought maybe 2 years would be a good length of time. And so that date would be, April 2023, and 24 for the other blank, 24 months.
Mhm.
My thought was that we would ask for nominations, and then the mayor would make recommendations to the council as we normally do. But I'm open to other ideas, of course.
I'm okay with that. But I believe that you and Councillor Frankie have sort of jumped on this from Jump Street. Claude, would you like to be on that?
Not necessarily. I'm on a couple of other committees at this point, so I'm happy to, but I'm not necessarily the best person for this committee.
But Rebecca, you're in.
Yeah, I'd love to be on the committee, of course.
Now,
And-
when you said 8 people, were you including the 2 counselors in that 8? Or did you want 8 other people?
So the way that the proposal is written, it's recommending up to 8 members, including at least 1, but no more than 2 city councilors. It would probably be good to have 2 councilors, and then 6 other individuals from one from each of the following groups. There's more than 6 groups, so 6 other people that
I
fit that
I
category.
appreciate that. Are there any other councilors that want to join Councillor Green? Councillor Oliveira and Councillor Green. The other 6 people, Patty, did they send a letter out to you? Do we advertise that committee? How does that work?
We certainly can. We could put some solicitations on Facebook and on the city's website for interested people to contact us. Certainly.
All right, let's do that. I just want to make sure that we can get that process going for Councillor Green and Councillor Oliveira.
Okay, and I realize that it probably would have been a good idea to read the purpose. I didn't do that. I'm thinking that everyone
Would you like
had
to now?
the agenda packet. Well, I'm just, for the sake of people listening who may not have seen it, it probably is a good idea for folks to know whether, they're interested. So if that's okay.
Councilor Green, I'm
Yep.
happy to do that for you if you'd like, or you can,
Oh,
whatever you prefer.
This was your pass, Rebecca. Give it to her.
yeah, I'd much rather hear your voice, Patty, than my own.
I'd rather hear yours, but I digress. Okay, so the purpose is to review existing housing policies and guidelines, including the city's comprehensive plan, housing study of 2002, as well as other housing data and projects under development to identify issues of concern around housing availability. The committee will recommend specific actions or initiatives to encourage, facilitate the following objectives: promote housing opportunities for all socioeconomic groups, support improvements in existing housing stock, both single and multifamily, provide incentives for workforce housing, specialized housing, renovated homes, and new market rate homes, encourage home ownership in the city by facilitating recreation areas and neighborhood businesses. The membership is up to 8 members, including at least 1, but not more than 2 city councilors, and 1 of each of the 6 following groups: a resident who is actively engaged in the residential home building industry in connection with affordable housing, a resident who is actively engaged in the banking or mortgage banking industry in connection with affordable housing, a resident who is actively engaged as an advocate for low-income persons in connection with affordable housing, a resident who is actively engaged as a for-profit provider of affordable housing, a resident who is actively engaged as a not-for-profit provider of affordable housing, a resident who is actively engaged as a real estate professional, a resident who serves on the local planning board, a resident who represents essential services personnel, including teachers and educators, community college and university employees, police and fire personnel, healthcare personnel, skilled building trades personnel. Range of authority. The committee members will be empowered to communicate with members of the business community, business associations, and any other person or entities it finds of use in carrying out its assignment. The result of its effort will be to provide the council with recommendations. It may not make promises or enter into verbal or written agreements purporting to represent the city without formal authorization of the council at large. Reporting. A member of the subcommittee will be called upon at each regular meeting of the council to report on progress with final recommendations to be delivered on April 2023. The sunset. The committee shall be established for a period of 24 months with reevaluation of the scope of the committee thereafter on an annual basis.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? Eric.
So I guess I would offer an amendment that lists Rebecca and Flavia as the two counselors. And then and that the mayor will offer appointments to the committee to be approved by the council, and he'll work with Councilor Green and Councilor Oliveira to come up with a list of people.
Okay.
That was a silent second by Rick. Councilor
I
Claude?
will officially second that.
Yes, if procedurally, if Rebecca, who's offered the motion, accepts the amendment, then we don't have to vote on it.
Okay. I'll accept the amendment. Thank you, Eric. Councilor Thomas.
That's why we have Claude here. Claude is a stickler for rules. I love it.
And then I would also say, Rebecca, Amy Calder has indicated, I think she's going to do a story about this committee. So that would probably be a good way to get the word out.
Yep.
And I would also, I imagine you might have to do some recruiting. I think this may not just be a case of putting the word out. I think if you want people from those specific categories, you're probably going to have to go out and find some of them. So
Yes,
And I'll help you find them.
thank you.
All right. See no other questions. Patty, can I get a roll call?
Council Morris,
Yes.
Council Oliveira,
Yes.
Council Klepak,
Yes.
Council Green,
Yes.
Council Foss,
Yes.
Council Frankie,
Unequivocally, yes.
Council Thomas.
yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed.
All right. Moving on to Resolution 75, 2021.
A resolution providing for bid award pavement rehabilitation contract.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Any questions? Steve, can you tell us what this one's for?
We can't hear you. You're muted.
You're on mute.
That was by design. This is the award of a contract for $480,000 and some change to do road work, both resurfacing, planing, and in some cases reclamation. It is going to involve Marston Road and Eastern Avenue, not 8 Rod Road. And I would ask that you amend it to show that difference.
So moved.
Second.
Can we get a roll call on that amendment, Patty?
Oh, could I clarify the amendment, please?
Instead of reading 8 Rod Road and Marston Road, it should read Eastern Avenue and Marston Road.
Eastern Avenue?
I believe so. That not sound right? I might have the wrong name.
That's what I'm wondering, because Eastern Avenue is on a completely different part of the city.
Well, that's correct. It's in the north end.
Okay, there you go.
See, Rick, shovels to ground.
Yeah, but not my ward.
Yeah, we need to. We're going to be talking about those here soon.
Yes,
you know we will.
we are.
I thought we were. I thought 8 Rod Road was there, and I'm like, wait, it just got pulled out from under me.
And I
Good,
even
Steve.
and I even saw white marks, dig safe marks out on 8 Rod.
Nope.
If I may, I'd like to offer an explanation.
Yeah.
The reason is that the Maine DOT is going to reconstruct the I-95 bridge over Webb Road starting summer. And when they do that, they're going to close Webb Road at the bridge. And the access for construction vehicles is going to be off of 95 at Trafton Road, up 8 Rod Road, and then west on Webb Road. The other access will be from West River Road, westbound on Webb Road. So we're expecting to see a considerable amount of heavy construction traffic on those 2 roads over the next 2 years. So we don't want to resurface those roads and then have them subjected to heavy construction traffic. So we're going to hold that off until the bridge is completed, and then we'll do both roads.
Good. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions?
So there's the amendment on the floor. Oh, bless you.
Thank you.
There's an amendment on
I
the
tried to
floor.
mute. Let's see. So can I get a roll call on the amendment then?
Yes. Council Morris,
Yes.
Council Olivera,
Yes.
Council Klepak,
Yes.
Council Green,
Yes.
Council Foss,
Yes.
Council Frankie,
Yes.
Council Thomas.
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed.
Move as amended.
Second.
Any discussion? No. Patty, can I get a roll call?
Council Morris,
Yes.
Council Olivera,
Yes.
Council Klepak,
Yes.
Council Green,
Yes.
Council Foss,
Yes.
Council Frankie,
Yes.
Council Thomas.
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on to Resolution 76, 2021.
A resolution providing for support of Waterville Asian American Pacific Islander community.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Councilor Klepak.
So I believe there had been I had suggested a change to the resolution, and I thought it had been sent out, but the resolution was read as Asian American Pacific Islander community, and my is that actually the name of the resolution that we're voting on, or is it the new one that had been sent forward?
The agenda had already been sent out, so it's going to have to be amended to put the new language in.
Yes, let's amend it, please, Eric, if you know the procedure for doing that. But I know that that has been put together.
I think Rebecca has the amended language, and if she wants to offer that as an amendment and then perhaps read the amended version while she offers her amendment, and then we can get a second on that.
Okay. Should I read the language first?
I'd read the title. So you're offering an amendment, and then you're going to read the language that's going to be the amendment.
Okay.
So, because we should read the whole thing for the public, and I would read
Right.
with the new title as well.
Okay. So, I'm just finding it here in my mail. Here we go. Okay.
Eric, just for procedural aspects, she's got to, and I want to make sure that she has this clear because I know she's under some pressure now. She has to say, I move to amend as I read, and then she'll get a second after she's done reading. So she's got the steps in front of her. Okay. Been in that hot seat before.
Okay, so the resolution, I'd like to make an amendment to the resolution to read resolution in support of Waterville, Asian, and Pacific Islander people.
I get it up, Rebecca. Do you want me to read it for you?
Yes, please.
All right. I get the amended one you just sent me.
Okay, thank you. The title is different than,
Resolution in support of Waterville AAPI, April
Yeah.
2021.
I mean, just, if I can just add that Tom's point, which I agree with, is that we wanted to include Asian and Asian American and Pacific Islander. The very common acronym now is AAPI, but we want to make it clear that we're including all people.
Of Asian descent.
Exactly, yeah.
Where I'm right there with you. So I'll read this one off. Whereas on March 16th, 2021, the city of Atlanta experienced a traumatic and tragic event resulting in the killing of 8 people, 6 of whom were women of Asian descent. And whereas these horrendous acts of violence targeting Asian women have reverberated throughout the community of Asian American or Asian American and Pacific Islanders, AAPI, nationwide, including in the city of Waterville, and whereas xenophobia and discrimination towards the AAPI community has history in the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882, which barred Chinese immigrants to the U.S., and the internment of Japanese Americans during World War II. And whereas since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, the AAPI community has experienced significant increase in discrimination, harassment, and attacks. And whereas the city of Waterville wishes to express its sorrow for these acts of hatred against AAPI community, to state its support for the victims of recent as well as historic acts of hatred, violence, and discrimination against all Asians, Asian Americans, and Pacific Islanders, whereas the AAPI community, including relatives, friends, and neighbors, continue to contribute to the vibrancy of Waterville and areas across the entire city as business owners, teachers, students, medical professionals, caregivers, social workers, financial and administrative professionals, and many, many other occupations. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and city council stand in solidarity with the AAPI community, both in the city of Waterville and across the United States, and expresses its unwavering commitment to combating anti-Asian hate and discrimination by protecting AAPI residents of Waterville and holding accountable those who cause them harm. Be it further resolved that the mayor and city council hereby express its strongest condemnation for racism and intolerance against AAPI communities and peoples. And be it further resolved that the mayor and city council do by here recognize, celebrate, and honor the rich cultures and contributions of our AAPI families, friends, and neighbors.
I will second Rebecca's amendment, and I would ask, Patty, do you have that language?
I do not. If
I'll
council,
send it to you right now, Patty.
thank you.
I did email it about a couple hours ago, but
Oh, I haven't checked my email in a couple hours.
I realized it was last minute.
Okay, that's fine.
To Claude's earlier point, I would guess, I mean, since Rebecca's offering an amendment to her own resolution, we don't need to vote on the amendment, correct? As long as Rebecca accepts her own amendment.
I do.
Yes, is whatever Rebecca offered is what she's offering.
Okay.
All right.
Awesome.
Any further discussion? Oh, Councilor Klepak.
I just wanted to say that extend my thanks to Asian members of our community who actually reached out to me and discussed this matter, and through those discussions helped refine the document that the resolution that we're about to vote on. I think it is an extremely important thing for all communities in the United States to make very positive statements like the one that we are currently making, so that all citizens and all people can feel safe and enjoy the virtues that are our American heritage, the best of our American heritage. So that's all I have to say about that for now. But thank you very much to those people.
I'm with you, Tom. I mean, we're all human beings. We all bleed red. People need to just be good to each other. No reason to be dinks. Yeah, I mean, it's true. I mean, everywhere else we can all get along. There's just always one person that's got some issue that just can't be resolved any other way. It's ridiculous. All right. Patty, can I get a roll call?
Council Morris,
Yes.
Council Olivera,
Yes.
Council Klepak,
Yes.
Council Green,
Yes.
Council Foss,
Yes.
Council Frankie,
Yes.
Council Thomas.
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Daly, yep, go ahead.
with your backing and that of the council, I'd like to distribute this position that you've taken tonight to all city employees as an official position of the city that they're expected to abide by.
Absolutely. I mean, we don't discriminate. It's Waterville. We don't live 200 years ago. This is why when we're at a point where we're still always talking about racism and race, somebody's not paying attention because they should be. All right. Councilor Gray.
Yeah, I'd also like to propose that we offer this language or invite our other communities in the Kennebec region to also adopt a similar resolution, as we've all committed to stand behind diversity and inclusion. I think it would be great to see this adopted in our region. So I'll reach out to those folks and suggest that.
And Patty will arrange times for everybody to come in and sign it.
Sure.
All right. And Patty, can I get a roll call? Did we vote yet? No.
We already voted on it.
All right. Let's move to resolution 77, 2021.
A resolution providing for issuance of a victualer's license to 18 Below LLC doing business as 20 Below.
Move to adopt.
Second. Muted, Jay.
Any discussion? Seeing, Councilor Frankie?
Do we have anybody here from the new to represent the new 20 Below?
Travis is listening. He's got his hand up. I wasn't sure. I know he was working tonight, so I wasn't sure if he'd be able to talk or not. trying to cook and do a council meeting.
Right. So I'm here if you have any questions.
I guess, what is this? Are you expanding? What are we doing here?
There's a small expansion in 18 Below in the lounge. It's going to extend into the basement of 20 Below. And the main floor will be a specialty sandwich shop. under the DBA 20.
Gotcha.
Anyone else? All right, Patty, can I get a roll call?
Council Morris,
Yes.
Council Olivera,
Yes.
Council Klepak,
Yes.
Council Green,
Yes.
Council Foss,
Yes.
Council Frankie,
Yes.
Council Thomas.
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed.
Moving on to 78-2021.
A resolution providing for issuance of a liquor license to 18 Below LLC doing business as 20 Below.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Any discussion? Oh, Councilor Klepak.
Can't hear you, Thomas.
Oh, sorry. How about that?
Mhm.
So I had a question for you, Travis. I've never been in 20 Below, like those buildings right there, those spaces right there. The one that has the yellow awning, is that the space that we're talking about, the specialty sandwich shop, or is it the space next door to that, to the whatever that is, west?
Yeah,
of that?
so you're suggesting one of the entrances to Side of the Sun, which is no longer there now. So it's just beyond that first awning. It used to be Glant Therapy something.
I see. Okay, all right. So there's not actually, it's not the doorway that's next to the awning. It's like the bricked-in door. I'm looking at a picture of it now. I'm just trying to get
it's the
my
brick.
head around. So there's like an intervening little doorway and stairwell thing there between the entrance to 18 Below and 20 Below. Is that right?
Yes, there is.
And like some law offices or something.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Good. I'm sorry. Thank you for clarifying that. I just want to know what I was looking at.
Yeah, of course.
Anyone else? Councilor Green.
Yeah, so does that mean it's a completely separate kitchen and everything? Two different establishments?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, actually, yes. There'll be no hood at 20 Silver Street. That'll be specialty sandwiches. It'll be a sandwich shop.
Okay,
So it's two separate operations.
got it. Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none, I'll move to roll call, Pat.
Council Morris,
Yes.
Council Olivera,
Yes.
Council Klepak,
Yes.
Council Green,
Yes.
Council Foss,
Yes.
Council Frankie,
Yes.
Council Thomas.
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed.
Moving on to 79-2021. Travis is keeping us busy today.
A resolution providing for issuance of an outdoor dining license to 20 Below on Silver Street.
Move to adopt.
Oh, sorry.
Second.
Any discussion?
Hey, Travis, are you still with us, sir?
Oh, he just popped back on.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Can I speak before, just because I might be able to answer some questions, because I had a lot of discussions about this today.
Okay.
So before we go down that road, I spoke to Travis. I spoke to John Fortier, who owns State Farm. John is expecting to move up to KMD, but he's been delayed in his move due to issues with his internet connection. And so they came to an accommodation where they both agreed that essentially, as far as 18 Below goes, Travis is going to do what he did last year, except so he'll be using the sidewalk. The parking spaces he'll cone off after 5 o'clock. He won't actually be set up in front of State Farm this year. And then for 20 Below, he'll be, I believe, doing what's shown on the map there, so also using the sidewalk. So that'll leave the parking spaces available during the day. And John was happy with that solution, and Travis seemed happy with that solution. And if Travis has a different understanding, perhaps he can speak about it.
Mayor, if I may, before Travis speaks, can we get? I want to make that as an amendment, as stated by Mr. Thomas, just so it's on record, just so with his point of clarity down the road, so that we don't have any further discussion after the fact.
You want to offer it as an amendment now?
I want to offer that as an amendment.
And I'll second it.
Patty, can I get a roll call on the amendment?
Yes. Council Morris?
Yes, but I'm sorry, can I add one thing to this amendment? Because when I spoke with John on Saturday, one of the concerns that he had is once he does move, that he now needs to turn around and market that property. And he wanted to he wasn't quite sure what he was going to do or who was going to be interested in it. And he wanted the opportunity that, if at the end of the day, if someone else wanted to come in, that we weren't granting the space just to one spot, but we can grant the space until somebody else decides that, they want to do something with it. So if someone else leases the property or wants to come in and lease the property, it's not as lucrative if they don't have the opportunity to maybe do anything outside or use any of the parking spaces that we cone off for this one business. So if we can add to that we will approve this conditionally unless anybody else decides they want to come in and do it, then we'll have to have another conversation at such time.
Yeah, but just for a point of clarification, won't whoever buys that building have to come to us and ask for outdoor permission anyway? And I mean, nobody's going to throw in a kitchen in that place in the next 2 months.
Right. I think the discussion about the parking spots comes once if John moves out and Travis still wants to use them and John has nobody lined up to go in there, then we can have a discussion about whether Travis gets more access to them or whether we need any business coming in needs those spaces. So I think Travis has to understand that there might be some flexibility with what goes on with those parking spaces, but we are committing that he can use the sidewalk all summer long for the same season that the other restaurants get.
Right.
But that does not include the sidewalk in front of State Farm.
Correct.
Councilor Frankie,
Yes.
then Councilor Green.
I just thought we should, before we jump all the way into changing this and that, the other thing, maybe we should check with Travis and make sure that we're on the same page as he is.
Travis, we on the same page?
Yeah. I mean, I understand that, but again, once John does leave, and there is nobody there next season, possibly, I'd like to reopen this conversation. If another business isn't opposed to closing those, because what happens now is still after 5 o'clock, people will still park there if you're not there to run them off.
Nope, I agree.
And also, somebody will come at 5 minutes of 5 and be gone to the Silver Street Tavern for 2 hours. And my customers don't want to look at a big truck. They want a people watch like everybody else. So that's why it would be best for me to have a couple of them at least shut off so that my
Makes
guests can
sense.
enjoy what the other restaurants guests are able to enjoy.
We're with you.
Well, and there may just be an enforcement issue there, Travis, where we may be able to work with you. If we put up signage and people know that after 5 o'clock, those parking spaces are closed, then if somebody does park there, we can have them tracked down. But certainly putting up some sort of signage so that people know after 5 o'clock, you can't park there.
Right. I mean, I use a sandwich board with a big sign that says, so, but anyways, yeah, that'd be helpful though, of course.
All right, so can somebody clean up the language on the amendment?
Eric?
Well, it's going to be the sidewalk in front of Travis's location, stretching over to his new location at 20 Below. It does not include the sidewalk in front of State Farm, and then he will also be allowed to cone off the parking spaces after 5 o'clock.
Councilor Green.
So there's a separate resolution for outdoor dining for 20 below.
Mhm.
Is the
Yep.
space in between included in this?
I believe it is because they're connected.
Well, and I mean, there is another entrance there to Travis's landlord's law office. So I'd imagine they're going to work that part out between them.
Okay, well, that's just what I was wondering because there are other businesses in between those two. So I just wondered about how that's going to work with other tenants or landlords.
So if my understanding that's Sid Geller's place, right? Sid's on top of his tenants. I mean, if he thought there was going to be an issue, he wouldn't have done it.
And he owns that entire block, basically.
Yeah.
Except for
Okay.
State Farm.
And the red building across the street.
Right.
Okay.
All right. So can I get a vote on the amendment, Patty?
Yes. Council Morris,
Yes.
Council Olivera,
Yes.
Council Klepak,
Yes.
Council Green,
Yes.
Council Foss,
Yes.
Council Frankie,
Yes.
Council Thomas.
Yes.
Vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed.
Move as amended.
Second.
Can I get a roll call on that?
Council Morris,
Yes.
Council Olivera,
Yes.
Council Klepak,
Yes.
Council Green,
Yes.
Council Foss,
Yes.
Council Frankie,
Yes.
Council Thomas.
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed.
All right. Moving on to Resolution 80, 2021.
A resolution providing for issuance of an extended outdoor dining license to 18 Below on Silver Street.
Move to adopt.
Second. So
Are
I
we
think-
adding an amendment to this one too?
Right. I think we kind of covered it in the last one, but
Yeah.
So moved.
second.
So are we are using the language from the last amendment on this one as well? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
A roll call on that amendment, Patty?
Council Morris,
Yes.
Council Olivera,
Yes.
Council Klepak,
Yes.
Council Green,
Yes.
Council Foss,
Yes.
Council Frankie,
Yes.
Council Thomas.
Yes.
Vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed.
Move as amended.
Second.
Can I get a roll call on that, Patty?
Council Morris,
Yes.
Council Olivera,
Yes.
Council Klepak,
Yes.
Council Green,
Yes.
Council Foss,
Yes.
Council Frankie,
Yes.
Council Thomas.
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed.
Mhm. Moving on to Resolution 81, 2021.
A resolution providing for issuance of an extended outdoor dining license to Amici's on Main Street.
Move as motion to adopt.
Second.
Any discussion? Councilor Foss, Councilor Thomas, then Councilor Frankie.
So last year we stayed on the sidewalks with these. Actually, for this one,
I think that we're going to be staying on the sidewalk for both of them. We've sort of worked something out. I've been down there. Eric has been down there. So we've got a pretty solid plan as to what they're going to do.
okay. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. I want to stay on this one, but for the next one, we're talking about 2 spaces. Is that going to change just so we can get ahead of this?
Sort of. There should be a diagram there of what we're thinking about doing.
And I see that the reason I bring this up is last year when we were out in the street, people are not going to be protected by a plastic chain.
I agree.
40, 35 miles an hour down through there. So
We're-
I want to address
We're going
that.
to make it a little different. That's sort of going to be a walking path now with some barriers.
Okay.
So they will be on the sidewalks
Okay.
themselves. There shouldn't be least to my understanding, there shouldn't be any dining happening on the street or in those parking spaces. We are leaving the turning lane. And they'll just have that like the cattle chute to walk through, and there'll be ramps on either side so that we're ADA compliant.
Can I just speak, Jay?
Yep, go ahead, Eric.
So I went down and talked to Mary from Amici's today and the owner of OPA. I'm not going to attempt his name because I'll probably butcher it. And so essentially what we're going to do is when you get about to where Amici's entrance is, that's where the sidewalk will be blocked off. Then they're going to make a little ramp that goes down into it's going to take up part of the turning lane. And then it'll run, so there'll be a walkway that goes up near the sidewalk in that turning lane and in one or two of those parking spaces. In front of OPA, there'll be another little ramp so if people can get back up onto the sidewalk if they want to go into OPA. And then beyond OPA, there'll be another little ramp that'll go up to get people back on the sidewalk if they're going anywhere up beyond where OPA is. And so essentially the walkway will only take up half of the width of the parking space. And then there'll be, the city, I believe, is planning to, I don't know if people saw this email, but we're planning to purchase some planters for both Silver Street, the concourse, and for this area. We are going to bear that expense, but the restaurants are going to bear the expense for doing whatever gets planted in there. And Mary and the owner of OPA are going to split the cost of whatever needs to be done for little ramps to make the walkway work. And then they're also going to put planters between their dining areas to delineate one restaurant from another. And so it will leave enough space open in the turning lane for probably 2 or 3 cars to line up still, and probably like a 24-foot truck. Any large trucks can't turn from that lane anyway if they're taking a left. They have to go turn from the center lane just to be able to make the turn. And so I think it's possible. The other thing is a lot of times people are parked in that turning lane anyway, especially the delivery drivers from Waterville House of Pizza use it as a place to pull up and pick stuff up. So I don't think we're causing any big inconvenience by eating up a little bit of that turning lane. And then there was some concern about the build grant, but it sounds like there's no work happening in that part of the street until next year as things are planned right now. Obviously, if something changed, we'd have to revisit that issue. And then, obviously next year when the construction is happening there, this probably won't be possible. So you add in that fact and, what they've gone through in the last year with COVID. And I think it's a chance for them to make a little hay while the sun shines, as they say, and to give them an opportunity at outdoor dining where, we've given a lot of these other restaurants an opportunity. So I think it's a win-win for everybody. Both of the restaurant owners were on board with the plan. And I think there's a way for us to do this safely.
Steve, I got a question for you. Because that is a turning lane and nobody's supposed to be parking there, can we get Public Works to spray paint the curb yellow? You're muted. Good. I was going to say, because yellow typically indicates don't park here. So I think that way, as the parking enforcement officers walking around downtown, if somebody's parked in that yellow spot, you're going to get a $25 fine. After 14 days, it's going to be $50.
And so do we need an amendment, Patty, or are you clear?
Well, I'm trying to understand, based on the sketch that was submitted, isn't that exactly what was on the sketch that was submitted by Amici's, what is being approved?
With a slight
yes,
modification.
I think what's going to change, yes, is what OPA wanted, because OPA was looking to set up out in the parking spaces originally.
Right, but if we're looking at this resolution, this is being approved as it was presented, is my understanding. Is that correct?
Yes, seeing the map, yes. When I talked to Mary today, originally she was talking about starting right at the corner, and I explained that we wanted to leave some of the parking, the turning lane open.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like that was what was submitted in the map anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're fine passing this just the way it is.
Perfect. Okay, I just want to be clear what we're what we're approving.
Counselor Frankie?
Well, it does seem like we are a little unclear. Is this a matter that maybe should be tabled until the next meeting? In fact, the other question I had for the city manager is how this stacks up in terms of public safety. There's a fire hydrant down there, the turning lane,
I think that if the council passes or issues this license, subject to satisfying city public safety staff of the safety of the placement of the barriers and the clearances for people to walk through, then we can adjust on site and make sure that it's a safe environment.
And in terms of delaying, my understanding is they don't plan to put tables out there until the beginning of May, but they need to start ordering that stuff now. And so I think they want a commitment from the city as soon as possible so they can put the wheels in motion on that.
So do we need to amend this to make it contingent on the public safety issues?
That would be
Yes.
fine.
So moved.
Second?
Can I get a roll call on that amendment, Patty?
Yep, I'm just writing it down right
Nope,
now.
take your time.
Okay, yes. Council Morris,
Yes.
Council Olivera,
Yes.
Council Klepak,
Yes.
Council Green,
Yes.
Council Foss,
Yes.
Council Frankie,
Yes.
Council Thomas.
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed.
Moved as adopted, move as amended.
Second?
Can I get a roll call on that?
Council Morris,
Yes.
Council Olivera,
Yes.
Council Klepak,
Yes.
Council Green,
Yes.
Council Foss,
Yes.
Council Frankie,
Yes.
Council Thomas.
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed.
All right, moving on to Resolution 82, 2021.
A resolution providing for issuance of an extended outdoor dining license to OPA on Main Street.
Move to adopt.
Second?
Now, do we want to put the same language into this one? You got, Claude, do you want to offer another amendment to add the same language?
Yes, I would.
Second.
And this would be different from the plan because the plan they submitted showed a deck built in the parking spaces. So the amendment should also include that the dining is going to be located on the sidewalk, and there's going to be a walkway that continues from Amici's area in the parking space up past their dining area.
Okay.
And that it's contingent on public safety issues.
Agreed. Yep.
So just for my clarity, I understand that it's contingent upon the public safety concerns, and that the dining will be located on the sidewalk with the pedestrian walkway in the
Parking spaces.
spaces.
Yep.
Okay.
Can I get a roll call on the amendment?
Council Morris,
Yes.
Council Olivera,
Yes.
Council Klepak,
Yes.
Council Green,
Yes.
Council Foss,
Yes.
Council Frankie,
Yes.
Council Thomas.
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed.
Move as amended.
Second?
Any further discussion? Patty, can I get a roll call?
Council Morris,
Yes.
Council Olivera,
Yes.
Council Klepak,
Yes.
Council Green,
Yes.
Council Foss,
Yes.
Council Frankie,
Yes.
Council Thomas.
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed.
All right. Moving on to counselor updates. Counselor Thomas, then Counselor Frankie.
I just wanted to update everybody on the budget. We've been in kind of a holding pattern because we were waiting for the state to finalize their business. We're also waiting on the schools to present us some numbers, which should be happening soon. And I think we're also hoping for some more clarity on what's happening with the federal stimulus. So we're a few too many things up in the air to make anything really public at this point. Certainly we heard loud and clear from everybody that we want to hold the mill rate steady. And that is the message we have sent out to the schools. And that is what we're working under as a finance committee. So we're hoping by the next meeting, possibly, we may have a draft to show, along with a schedule for the budget meetings. We're hoping to condense it down a little bit this year and focus more on the things that are changing and not so much just going line by line through the budget. Although certainly if councilors will still get the entire budget, and if they want to go line by line and then raise items during our meetings, that's certainly okay. So just wanted to update everybody where that stands.
We've been doing a lot of those. I know we have another one coming up. Any other, Councilor Frankie?
Just to remind everyone that back in November, we voted on the outdoor dining for Silver Street and some of the merchants, some of the businesses on Merchants Way in the concourse. The city has already, I believe, blocked off some of those areas with the Jersey barriers. And as I understand from the city manager, we're going to replace those with planters that will be a little bit more scenic. The other thing that I wanted to mention is at the next meeting, I plan to offer two resolutions of national interest. One will be urging our national representatives to support statehood for the District of Columbia. And the other will be to urge our national representatives to support the carbon cashback initiative that's also before Congress.
Thank you, Claude. Any other counselors? I know I'm not a counselor, but I'm going to have to talk about this. Rick, I haven't had a chance to talk to you about this. I've actually been getting a few phone calls and emails today. You may be getting them here in the next couple of days, since the issues revolve around your ward where I live. Since you're my counselor and you're going to be Stephen Daly's counselor, we're coming to you. The road over by Aroma Joe's.
Yep.
And the car wash.
Yep.
I don't know what we can do, Steve or Rick, or how we can put our heads together, but we go by there every day. It's getting worse and worse. I understand that some of these businesses don't want to open their lobby, but people parking up and down KMD is not okay. It's not safe. And I hope that one of our police officers sits across the street and starts tagging everybody. Because I don't know another resolution to that, but it is completely unsafe for residents to be walking. And that's part of the reason we need sidewalks in our neck of the woods.
Right.
But I wanted you to know, because I haven't had a chance to touch on that with you, but I figured that all counselors would need to know that we're definitely having some issues out on KMD when it revolves around J&S Oil's car wash and Aroma Joe's. I love both those businesses. I frequent them both. But if people could pull around Sawyer to hit Aroma Joe's, that would be great.
Right. And and to that, Aroma Joe's wasn't the issue back then, but when J&S was a single lane going into the car wash, that's where then they expanded to double lanes, and then they went to the pass system that they've got. So it alleviated it for about that much time, and then it's out in the road. And so we had to, back then we stepped up enforcement on KMD to handle that, along with working side by side with JNS. I'm there at Aroma Joe's a lot myself. I'll put it in their ear to start warming them up to getting that traffic off KMD, because it is a problem. I don't
Yeah,
disagree.
because I mean, if they can pull around to Sawyer, they can hit it on two different ways. They'd be a lot better.
Right.
Well, and the car wash has a whole other entrance. Like, you know, when it gets backed up to that first entrance, they need an employee out there telling people to go to the other entrance and line up down there.
Or move on, because come back later. Cause
Right, wrap it around the other way and bring it in. So, but
yeah, I figured I'd bring that up to you because I've been
Yeah.
getting some calls and emails.
Yep.
I got nothing else. Anybody else?
Motion to
Oh,
adjourn.
Steve Daly.
Mr. Mayor, I need to talk with you, Councilor Thomas and Councilor Morris about a scheduling matter before we part tonight.
Okay. Community notes. Richard Thomas, I see a hand up for attendees.
I live at 3 Big Sky Lane in Waterville, and I'm a member of a local volunteer group, the Maine Citizens Climate Lobby. And I'd like to talk for a moment about the resolution that Claude Frank had just raised about. We'd like to encourage the City Council to support the carbon cashback type legislation in Congress. Now, this would involve charging a small fee for fossil fuels at the mine or the well or at our border, and all of that money would be returned to every American citizen every month. So we'd all get a monthly dividend check. Now, every year, the fee at the mine would increase a little bit, and this would cause the cost of fossil fuels to go up, which would give us an increasing incentive to switch to renewable energy, which would then become much cheaper than fossil fuels. Now, modeling shows that this would reduce climate change much more than any legislation that's yet been considered. So fossil fuels would become more expensive, but very careful economic modeling shows that nearly all Mainers would receive more than enough money in the monthly dividend check to pay for the extra expenses. And that's the key. I think we would do okay money-wise, and yet we'd be able to do something powerful to reduce climate change. So we are seeking statements from towns around the state to show our representatives and senators that there is support for such legislation. A number of towns have already supported this. Waterville would not have to do anything other than support the resolution. We will be sending some detailed information about the proposal to each of you before the next council meeting. And at that time, we hope to present more information and answer questions about it. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else? I see no other hands.
motion to adjourn.
You got a second? Done.
And so Mike and Jay and I are going to stay on to talk to you, Steve. Is that what we?
Just for a minute.
Okay.
All right.
I feel like we're going to the principal's office.
We are. Good night, everyone.
Good
Good night.
night.
How come Rick gets to leave? No fair.